Welcome back, nerds. We're back
I have a different can, but I'm still in the same place.
same nerd, different can. All right, so let's talk about a little bit of games. There's some things coming out. We all are looking forward to Star Wars Outlaw. I mean,
Yeah. Oh my god.
I wasn't looking forward to it that much when I first heard about it, but as time goes by, I find myself like really anticipating this game. Um,
Like, and I the Star Wars games were killing it for the most part. Like,
they,
there was like that little bit of a lull in between, like
I
the
think,
original Battlefront stuff. But yeah,
yeah, that's what it was. That the distance between, um, what was the first one called?
Force Awakens, not Force Awakens,
The
Fallen Order,
Yeah, Jedi: The Fallen Order and between Survivor.
Force Awakens. God
Yeah.
damn it.
But every once in a while, I go back to what is it, Battlefront
Oh
2?
yeah, the OG Battlefronts, and they remastered the
No,
originals.
the newest ones, the ones that came out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are solid too.
I,
And
I like flying around, so like that game's really good with that, just for skirmishes in the sky. But it's
oh yeah.
you don't have a lot of people play with it, it gets pretty boring. But yeah, like you said, other than just like making us wait for them, like Star Wars is really their games are always really good, and I think that's why we're waiting for them. So I don't mind it,
No.
and I think Outlaws is just going to be another version. Like me personally, I know some people don't like getting away from the Jedi stuff and the Force, but
I
me,
think that's such an untapped market.
yeah, I mean, not in the books. I love reading the books about
Oh yeah.
the uh the bounty hunters. I love reading the books about the smugglers. Like the smugglers stories are very intense sometimes. And
And like technically KOTOR and these other Star Wars like MMORPGs don't always relate to like the Jedi and the Sith.
yeah,
They like go back to like precursor type of things. And it's just like, hey, that's such a, like I said, like we were talking about, untapped market. It's so cool to see it.
and not to be too nerdy and everything, but when you really think about it, the Jedi and the Sith, like it's just a small percentage of the
Yeah.
story. They're just the strongest forces. There are billions of life forms in the entire system,
Hmm.
in all the systems that are just caught up in this giant war just because, a few people don't like each other. It's like
Right. Hell, I mean, even the Ewoks had their run on a TV series.
it's just like imagine if Bloods and Crips were the most powerful beings in the world. And like we had to choose a side or like create and eventually get snuffed out. It's like essentially. I don't like to put it in layman's terms or dumb it down
Oh,
much, but that's kind of how I see it. Just
you're not wrong. That's like good. You're not wrong. But, God, yeah, like no, yeah, I'm excited to explore this other branch again because they did it with Star. They had the Bounty Hunter game where you play as Jango Fett.
I remember that. Was that? I think I had that on Game.
PS2.
Was it on Game? Yeah, yeah, it was PS2. Yeah,
Hmm.
on PS2.
PS2 going into like the PS3, and you can buy it. It's available on the PlayStation Store for like $10 right now.
Saw that. Yeah, they got especially after May the 4th.
Yep. And yeah, like and one of my buddies here in Wisconsin, Sikorsky, he is big nerd through and through. He himself isn't like very. He's not like he's not super into Star Wars. Like he gets it, but he's like it's not really my thing. But I enjoy the Legos, and I'm like, cool, fair enough.
Yeah,
But he brought up a very good point where he's just like he's like, yeah, this game looks really cool, but again, we're missing out on like the KOTOR Knights of the Old Republic feeling, where you truly get to create a character from scratch. And I think that's something Star Wars could take some time to get back into.
they are.
But again,
They've been
I'm confident with Outlaw.
Yeah,
Outlaws.
they've been talking about it for years, and they're trying to do it. It's kind of like Blade. Like, come on, let's just do it. Like, let's not talk about it. Just do it, please.
Look, if you want to play Blade, just play Marvel's Midnight Sun. You get to use him as like
I was talking.
character in the game, which is a great game, by the way.
I
Do
was
it,
talking
do it.
because you know how everybody's waiting for the next Blade movie. It's like they started saying that it was in production, and they had to scrap it because of some differences. Because
I've
like
scrapped it a few times. Yeah.
yeah, that happened with Old Republic, if I'm not mistaken. They kind of started it a few years back and
hmm
said, "All right, we can't do this because I want to say it was the developer, him and like the heads of the developer kind of split away. I think that's what it was. I can't remember, but regardless, yes, Star Wars Outlaw. That's what I'm looking forward to right now. I understand you had something that you were looking forward to playing that's coming out soon.
Let me tell you, Assassin's Creed is forever a powerhouse of a game series. There's no way around it. Like, sure, they have their weak ones, but it's something that's gonna forever hold a special place in pretty much any nerd's heart. Anyone that's ever played the series. So when they mentioned that they were going to do the next series in Japan, it's like, okay, that's cool. I love it. I love the samurai era. I love those storylines. But there's that fear of you have Ghost of Tsushima, you have Ronin, you have all these other games that have come out recently that are just so focused in that samurai period.
Hmm?
I was truly worried about like about this Assassin's Creed samurai game called Assassin's Creed Shadow to just kind of fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
But I mean, my confidence has been restored. I understand again, people are very worried about like Ghost of Tsushima specifically, still like casting such a big shadow that this game won't ever be able to break away from it. But a they're hitting on I love the feeling of being able to play as two separate characters, which they did in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. In that game, you play as a brother and a sister. This game, you play. There's the potential to play as not brother and sister, but you get to play as like a man and a woman character. And the woman character has that rough storyline that you tend to see a lot, where she gets taken advantage of, her family gets taken away from her, and then all of a sudden, like she steps up to be like the most mighty warrior, which we love. We aren't jackass kicker from the Chiefs who apparently just hates women, but is also a closeted gay. But that's a whole different thing. Like, just be you, homie. Don't. Either way,
Come on, man.
come on. Like, feel the love, man. Just feel the love. Why you gotta do it to yourself? Anyways, so yes, we have her, and then we have the samurai character in the trailer, face covered, just big, imposing person. He looks terrifying, even for a game. But then all of a sudden, you see him take the mask off, and he's a black samurai, which that is an actual historical thing that happened.
You scared.
So yeah, and also the Netflix series where what's his name? Dude from the TV show Atlanta.
I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name,
I
but
can't remember his name right now either, but he did the voiceover for the Netflix Yusuke show, and I'm so excited to see how this is going to play out because you have the woman character who is 100% going to be more of the actual stealth, but then you have
the brute.
you have Yusuke, your brute character, where in the trailer he's just holding a like club behind his back and just wrecking people. It's so I'm very excited to see this type of combination because Assassin's Creed has been one or the other for a significant amount of time. Like the most recent example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, 100% a brute through and through. You can sneak if you want to, but the game's like, no,
But it kind of defeats the purpose of being.
a Viking.
And then they also had the Spartan.
Yep, Odyssey.
It's like you
Which,
want to, kind of chase the purpose.
yep. But then they get into Mirage, and then they bring in the original of Assassin's Creed. God, I can't think of that one off the top of my head right now either. But you're getting those games are getting back into like the actual sneaking of it. I've recently reinstalled Assassin's Creed 3 because I think that's probably tied with my favorite of the series. Black Flag, 100% is number one. Assassin's Creed 3 is where you play as the Native American character,
Oh,
Branagheto.
oh, I actually did love that. That story was
I
really,
love that one.
was
I
really
love that time period. I just love history. So like anything that like brings up like the creation of America, but the hero of the story is again like someone of color.
Mhm.
It's Native American. That's such a cool concept to me that these games are bringing to light something that has always been kind of sitting in the wayside. All of the heroes we grew up with were white for the most part, unless you were able to watch like Static Shock or something like that.
Oh,
So be able to like experience something like that is just forever cool to me. But
well,
yeah, I think this new one is gonna. I think it's gonna be solid. I'm excited, but I also understand people are like, "Ooh, but Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, great game, but don't compare them. You just can't." I got to remind myself not to do that.
Tsushima is a beast in its own. It's just like
It's
one,
a cinematic and a gaming masterpiece.
yeah, it's one of the great games of our time. So that
Oh
goes
yeah,
on a shelf by itself because there are, like you said, we're not short on any kind of like samurai type games because they came out with so many and they won't stop. Um,
hmm.
like you said, Rise of Ronin, Ghost of Tsushima, obviously, Neo. Like there's so
Yeah.
many, and
Sekiro, like God,
yes, I actually still want to play that because like
the game is a lot of fun, but it's Ghost. It's a Souls type of game, so
that's
the
why
grind is real.
yeah, that's why I didn't even like bother. It's like I'm going to do it one day, but probably not really soon.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
but I love the samurai aspect of all these games, but it does get a little like repetitive afterwards. So I'm excited about this because Assassin's Creed is it's you can't look at it like anything else except for Assassin's Creed. It kind of
you really can.
like the movements of games like that, like the
Hmm.
parkour style type running and things like that. Like that, it all started with Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah,
So
like the free running alone is just such a great reason to play it.
just running, and then like back in the day when like it was still kind of buggy and you're trying to jump somewhere and just moving like Jackie Chan on crack, right?
Yeah, but yeah, but you even when you mess up, it still is just like one of those things like, oh well, I guess I'm kind of in a fight, but whatever, I can handle this.
But
But yeah, man, I'm excited for it. There's gonna be people that are upset. There's already some gatekeepers. Why is there a black guy being the main character? Assassin's Creed is going, whoa, shut up. That's not the first time.
those aren't
You have
gate.
Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, where you're literally helping free slaves from a plantation.
Yeah, those gatekeepers. Those are called closeted, bleh, racist. Can't speak, but you know what I mean.
Just like Chiefs kicker. Sorry, I had to bring it up again. I just had to bring it up again.
Call a spade a spade, spade. You know what I mean? But what else you got up there?
Man, like let's. So few movie things that have been happening recently, but for me personally, a big moment for me. I feel like more of a contributor to society after I did this. I bought the Dune movie pack, so the first two new Dune movies. I
No.
bought it on my Apple Plus because I was like, these are two movies that I truly just want to keep. So I finally was able to watch Dune 2 because I tried holding it off to watch it with Tanae, but Tanae hasn't even really watched the first one. So I'm like, oh. So I was like, well, I can't wait. So I finally watched it, and that was such a masterpiece to me. It blew me away. I was so enthralled with the overall story and just how close it stuck to like through and through on the first book for the most part, like spot on. And I felt so good about it. But then just watching how they still were able to run with it and kind of make it their own thing. And I think like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet killed their parts in it.
Yeah,
And just it's one of those stories where you're watching the hero become kind of like an anti-hero, and those I just enjoy those stories because it's just that reminder that heroes are broken. Like it's not always a good thing, obviously, but it's a good reminder where you can't be perfect. You just can't. So, oh man, like great action sequences, and also just watching a love story build and break like that is just, it's well done. It's just so well done.
nice.
But
I'm gonna have to rewatch number one. It's been a while, and I don't remember it all that well. So I'm gonna do.
it's so good. I loved it. I just loved everything about it. And you get to see warm writing in this one too, so that's just even cooler. But then they also do a great job at bringing up the talks and feelings about religion, where you have older characters very, very much set in their ways, but then you have the younger characters that laugh at the older characters because they believe what they believe, and there's like no proof of it. They just believe in like that feeling of it's not there, so why bother?
Yeah,
But they just do such a great job at making it feel like it's talking about all these super modern issues, but in a completely different world. But you still feel like it's Earth. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but they knocked it out. I loved it. So good.
yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to check out Dune or Dune. You're not the only person that told me. My buddy Tone was telling me that the other day. He's like, these movies are
So,
really good. Like, you know,
so good. So good.
took his time to watch something and liked it, then it's got to be good. He's been really bad in his old age. Hey,
So you just called you got called out. I'm sorry. You did. You did.
like a boring dad. Right? He doesn't do any of the things like movies, TV, watching TV. It's some old ass show rerun
Of
from the
course.
90s that we watch. Like,
Don't
you,
be wrong. I'll rewatch Firefly when I'm feeling down.
you gotta, like, that can't be the only thing you watch, right?
No, God no.
Oh,
Step out of your box a little, man.
he also likes TikTok, so he's truly an old person.
I
He likes his shows and TikTok.
need my soaps. But yeah, and then hell, speaking of movies, Lord of the Rings making another comeback.
Oh,
Wild feeling to experience. For example, the Rings of Power series. It was a slow burn the first season.
yeah,
Things happened.
took me a minute.
Uh yeah, it took a minute. It truly did. But
No,
then when things got going, they got going. So I think season two is going to be more of that feeling. But we'll see. Coming out, it looks cool. It's the origin story is horrible. It's not to potentially enjoy. And then also the new movies that have been announced, where Peter Jackson is coming back to contribute to some of those movies. But the one I'm kind of looking forward to the most right now, just because they haven't really told us anything else about the other one, so why not make this the one I look forward to the most? It's definitely going to be the return of Gollum, where Andy, oh God, what's his name? Last name. Anyway, the guy that plays Gollum, he is going to be the director, and he's coming back as Gollum, so that's going to be super cool. This man is the master of being like these kind of CGI characters where he's killed it with Gollum and he's killed it as Caesar in the new Planet of the Apes movies. On top of his already amazing acting career. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this is going to go. There's going to be, like we've been talking about before, those purists out there that are like, oh, it's not like this, it's not like that. You do better.
okay, let's take it easy now.
But yeah, yeah. And then oh, no, then it happened recently. One of my favorite books of all time, Dark Matter. it's gotten turned into an Apple Plus TV series. I haven't watched yet because again, I'm trying to be patient and watch it with Tanae. That might be something I'm going to hold to a high standard. So I might be a bit of a hypocrite here. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the other thing I'm excited about in like TV movies.
Well, look, I need an Apple Plus account password. Wink,
Oh, you
wink.
can just use mine. Fuck it.
I was trying to give you a hint.
Yeah. Hey, and also they have MLB Fridays and they have MLS games on there too.
I
So
know that's the one of the reasons.
happy to share.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting it just for the MLS package, but uh,
And shout out to our boy Ray that we worked with. He is now a new sports manager he was with the Richmond Kickers for a while, but now he's moving on in his life. And he moved on to a new team and got a better position. So good on you, man.
yeah, man, that's awesome. I saw that on Facebook. I like keeping up with old trends, seeing
Oh
what
yeah.
they're doing in life. I love it.
That's
But
big tonight. So
so let's move to the sports part of the world. We've
today in the NBA.
we we haven't missed. We've missed sharing our feelings and
hmm
reasons of the things that's going on in the sports world currently, mostly just NBA. I've been keeping up with hockey a little bit, but the Flyers aren't in it. So I
It's been a wild experience. The
yeah,
Rangers pulled off one of the craziest comebacks, being down 4-1 to the Hurricane. But whatever, we'll move on. We won't talk about it because I'm not really a fan either way. But come on, Hurricanes! It's been like since 2006 you won it last. Step up.
yep, yeah, they were feeling it. I went to a couple different customers' houses today. They were all sad. One thing, aside from the NBA, that did happen, the Tom Brady roast. The
The
roast.
Tom Brady roast. Today was actually the one that suggested it while we were like getting ready to watch something. I kind of forgot about it.
Actually, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch it. I watched a
Oh,
lot
I watched it
of
live.
TikTok, but
Woo.
it was exactly what I was expecting, and I wasn't really expecting anything else. I mean, I saw Nikki Glazer's bit, and that was just
Like it was fun to see a roast again. 100 like, it brought me back to like 2008, 2009.
back when it was popping.
And for it to be Tom Brady of all people, I'm like, yeah, no, this is actually the perfect person for them to pick. But like when Tanae and I were getting ready to watch it live, I was very much like, I don't know what to expect because I was the whole purpose of a roast is to truly attack somebody and try to make it funny. And I'd say about like 70% of people that did it were very successful in it. There are others that were kind of like, and they kept it in a solid mix where it wasn't too much of the good stuff right away, and then the rest of it was just bad. So like the interchanging of people was super helpful. There was also just an interesting group that they picked. I guess is the way to say it. Because I think I think the one that I thoroughly enjoyed that I didn't expect I would enjoy was Belichick's. Like he was funnier than I probably would have ever given him credit for.
Yeah, Belichick's was really really funny. Um, it wasn't necessarily too surprising to me of the group of the people that they picked because you think they picked most of Brady's friends
Right.
and people he wanted there, and then they tried to sell it. So
Mm.
you got Randy Moss, but I guess that's Brady's friend as well. Obviously they played together so much, but Randy Moss is like the last person I would expect to see telling jokes at a roast. You know,
His were kind of the ones that like I felt like, oh man.
it doesn't seem like his thing. He kind of seemed uncomfortable. Uh,
Mm.
Gronk was Gronk.
Oh, apparently a woman got hurt from when he spiked that shot glass. Side note.
Yeah, I was actually about to go there too. Uh, it's like, and like you can't be mad. The only people that can be mad is the person that got hit and the people in front. If
No,
that's if they didn't know Gronk was going to be there and talking. Because if he's there and talking, you kind of got to expect something like that. It's kind of like Gallagher. You kind of got to have the plastic because
right.
he may throw something or break something.
Like you know who's going to be there.
That was just it's just like the one thing you probably they probably were expecting something, but the one thing they weren't expecting, they were he's not gonna break the glass or anything, right? Wrong.
Right.
Um,
No, he did. He did.
was it who else was there? Edelman.
Edelman's was
Ah,
Edelman's.
that was the
A
thing. It's like, did we expect anything else? But I kind of wasn't expecting everything he said.
about all the jokes about him being gay for Tom Brady. Oh yeah.
It was strange, but hey, whatever. Um, but then like the comedians, but see the reason why they did it, they didn't pick Tom Brady. It was kind of like it was Jeff Ross's idea because him and Tom Brady
Mhm.
are friends, and Tom Brady was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Sounds great." And I'm not sure why he wanted to do it. Maybe it was to I,
Keep himself relevant.
he doesn't need he was always relevant. He's the most relevant thing. They're waiting for him to become a broadcaster. So like yeah, I have no idea why he did it. I couldn't even
Well,
guess.
and I think a lot of it for him was to prove he was like, well, I got to show that I am tough because people come at me for the Brady rule and all this stuff.
Well, I don't
But
think
then
anybody ever questioned his toughness except for the people that uh
you haven't met my friend John.
I hater. I mean, I
Let
don't
me
like Tom Brady either, but like I'm not certainly not going to deny his greatness. Like he's the most winning quarterback of all time, so I don't
he's
question his toughness.
yeah, until Mahomes is done. And
Yeah,
then he'll just kind of be, oh, he was in second place.
not best, I said most winningest
No,
quarterback.
yeah.
Right now he is, and Mahomes is better, but he has a lot of winning to do to actually be better. You know,
Yep.
but I think he just did it because he's in this weird phase where like he's trying to be like, hey, look, I haven't always been this guy, this stoic, quiet, serious person. I'm super funny. I like to have fun. I'm crazy. My hair is always bedhead, and I don't know why they did his hair like that for this roast, but it was weird. I don't know. He's just weird. I feel like
Spot
he's
on.
trying to prove something to himself or everyone else. And then, of course, I wish we had been podcasting beforehand because I was saying
Funny.
this is a bad idea for
Mm,
him. I think it's a great idea in general, but like your kids are teenagers. You went through a
yeah.
weird, messy divorce.
Where they probably didn't even know a lot about it.
It was like it wasn't messy. Y'all did it well, but it was messy because of who y'all are and like how public it was and like the circumstances of the divorce. So it was actually messy. And
Constantly bringing up that Giselle was hooking up with the instructor, like
there was a lot of that.
a lot of that.
Like obviously, what else? Obviously, what other joke are they going to tell at the time? Everyone's going to hit that note, except for maybe some of the.
Oh,
And then
you,
the one uh, joke about Robert Kraft.
the don't say that shit again.
Oh man, that was so weird.
That when that happened, I was like, that is quite literally the equivalent of Will Smith and Jada.
Dude, it was so.
It might as well, it's just, Will actually slapped a man. And everyone was like, oh no, that was just Tom trying to crack a joke. I was like, oh, was it?
Okay, whatever you say, guys.
But like, and God, what was it? But yeah, like overall, I still really enjoyed it. Then, like we were saying, there was those hit and misses,
Great
but
roast.
I I was sitting there for like as soon as I saw the topic that you sent, that I was like kind of thinking back on it, and I was like, almost everybody on that stage, except for a random few people that were sitting in the back that weren't roasters, but they were still there. There was like a specific black guy who just had his face was emotionless like for 70% of the show. But
Oh, he's like, ooh, this ain't really. This is funny, but I'm kind of
yeah,
about the key.
but I noticed they poked fun at almost all the roasters except for Tom Segura.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I looked back at it and I watched TikToks and I was like, huh.
Why do you think
Like,
it is?
I think it's a combination of people are scared of Tom, and there was also that combination of they don't think he would react well to some roasts. Which is like a wild thing to think about because he's best friends with Bert Kreischer, who does nothing but insult the man for a majority of their like
I was about to
podcasts.
say, but like, it's like y'all don't even know Tom Segura. First of all, he's a comedian. They don't really get mad at jokes. That's kind of their
Yeah,
thing. And also, it's Tom Segura. Like, he doesn't.
they made fun of Bert. 100% made fun of Bert, no problem. But no one touched Tom.
Oh snap! Josh Hart is down. It is.
Yo,
Is it
this playoffs has been
first time on the bench?
tonight. Yes.
No, I mean in the playoffs or series. Like he's been.
No, in the blowout game.
Oh,
What was it?
he came.
2 days ago?
He came up his the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of that. Like honestly, they got a little. All right, might as well get full basketball.
Yeah, we're in. We're talking about basketball.
I love basketball. I didn't stop watching the playoffs. I knew the Sixers weren't going to win the whole thing. You saw it coming a mile away. All I was looking for was something from Maxey. He gave me that game, and I was like, we don't even, I've never had that feeling before, but I was like, we don't even have to win this. I am content with this performance. It was
I
beautiful,
would
but
I would find that as a very scary thing as a Philly fan because some other team is going to offer him a stupid amount of money.
yeah, but I don't think we're not going, like, I think we're safe with Maxey. Honestly, I
Yeah, I
really,
mean, to be fair, sorry, you guys would probably lose Joel before you lose Maxi at this point.
we got Daryl Morey. You think we're gonna lose Tyrese Maxey? We have Daryl Morey.
I
We're
I can't predict what a lot of these owners and GMs are capable of.
Daryl Morey is a different beast. Like
It's true. That's actually very true. There's a reason James Harden was like, hate this dude. Okay.
he's statistically one of the best GMs out there, but neither here nor there.
But I have to say,
We're oh god,
this playoffs has been the most fun because it's it changes the narratives so much.
this is
Like it's
yeah, you're right. This is a really fun playoff because there are a lot of narratives and there's a transition happening.